Welcome back friends to the class number 72. Now in the previous two videos we have briefed you about the working capital, different types of working capital facilities. Now from this video onwards we will start covering each of these products one by one. So now today we will start with overdraft limit. What is overdraft limit? How does it work? Let us understand all that through this video. So by overdraft, we mean that you can make withdrawals from your account. You can take out money from your account even if you don't have any money in it. So the bank is allowing you to withdraw more than what you have in your account, which is why it is called overdraft account, right? So how does it operates? Like this. So this is a sample of overdraft account. So suppose you have nothing, you have zero balance in your account, right? On 1st August 2025. Now on 2nd August 2025, you want to make payment to ABC Corporation of rupees 10 lakh, right? So you have done RTGS to them of rupees 10 lakh rupees, and the bank will clear your payment of 10 lakh rupees because you have an overdraft account with the bank. So your account balance will turn negative. Your account balance will turn negative by minus 10 lakh rupees, right? So suppose on 5th August 2025, you have received payment from another entity named BD Sales. So you have deposited the check and the check got cleared, and the 5 lakh rupees are now deposited in your account. So your net balance shall come down to minus 5 lakh rupees because 5 lakh rupees you have deposited in the account. Now these transactions will keep on going every month, every day, as long as you remain within your overall overdraft limit. So you would say, sir, how much I can withdraw, how much maximum negative balance that I can have in my overdraft account. So friends, this is what we call the sanctioned overdraft limit. So if your bank has sanctioned you overdraft limit of rupees 1 crores, then it would mean your account balance cannot, your negative balance in the account cannot be more than 1 crore rupees. You cannot over withdraw more than 1 crore rupees from your account, right? So this is your sanctioned limit, right? So the transactions of your business with respect to your payments to suppliers, payments for your expenses, collections from your sales shall have to be routed from your overdraft account only. That is the main accounting, that is the main principle behind operations of this account. If you don't operate your regular business transactions of payments and deposits in this account, then the account conduct will be poor in the eyes of the banks, and you may be charged penal interest for that also, right? So after these transactions, at the end of the month on 31st August, you will be charged interest. You will be charged interest for using this overdraft facility. Now how this interest is calculated? This interest is calculated on the day end balances. So suppose on 1st August the balance was 0, so no interest will be charged for 1st August. Now on 2nd August 2025, you have minus 10 lakh rupees limit used. On 3rd August, at the end of the 2nd August, you have 10 lakhs limit used. At the end of the 3rd August, you have also 10 lakh used. At the end of 4th August, you have also 10 lakhs limit used. At the end of 5th August, you have 5 lakh limit used. So the interest will be calculated for each day on the day end balance. So suppose your rate of interest is 8.5% per annum. So on the minus 10 lakh rupees balance, you will multiply by 8.25% into, since you are calculating interest for one day, it will be calculated like this, into, since 8.25% is rate is for 365 days, so you have to calculate it for 1 day period. So the interest of 1 day will be calculated like this. So similarly for every day, your interest will be calculated like this, and the total amount of interest shall be charged on the last day of the month, right? So some banks have practice of charging that on some other days, like some banks are charging on 5th of the month, but standard practice is charging the interest on last day of the month, right? So these transactions, this account will keep on operating like your current account. So this is basically your current account only, in which the bank is allowing you to withdraw more than what you have up to a certain sanctioned limit, right? So now the another point you need to understand in overdraft is interest servicing. So suppose you have limit of rupees 1 crore, you can draw down up to rupees 1 crore, but at the time of interest debit, you have used only 5 lakh 10,000 rupees. So 94 lakh 90,000 rupees limit is still allowed to you, but you haven't used it, right? So they have charged 10,000 rupees interest to you. Now you will say that my limit is used only of around 5%. I have adequate balance in my limit. So the interest is automatically paid off because I haven't used my limit in full year. But this doesn't work like that. You have to pay off this interest separately, even if your limit is only 2% utilized. So how this interest is paid? You have to make entry in the account of amount equal to or more than the interest as deposit. That deposit amount can come from your parties. You can deposit, you can make the deposit by transferring from funds from your saving accounts, from another current account, from another limit account, right? So there must be some deposit in the account which should be equal to or more than the interest. So only then bank will consider that you have paid off the interest. So in this example, you have deposited on 3rd September 5,000 rupees, right? But your interest debit was 10,000 rupees. So bank will say that even if your limit is underutilized, but still your interest is not serviced as of yet. On 10th of September, you have deposited another 7,000 rupees. So the total of these two comes to 12,000 rupees. So now the bank will say your interest got served after 10 days. You have served your interest, you have paid off your interest after 10 days, even if your limit utilization is very, very low, right? So as an entrepreneur, as a banker, as a credit manager, this interest servicing is really, really important. And ideally, this interest servicing has to be done in 3 days itself. Although the banks say that interest servicing usually happens in 7 days, but my personal recommendation is the interest servicing you have to do in 3 days by itself. Even if you are not receiving any payments from your suppliers or from your customers, you can serve the interest by transferring the funds from any of your other accounts or by depositing the cash also, right? If the interest amount is small. So this is how this overdraft account practically operates. So now this overdraft account is represented in statement as negative balance whenever you have used the limit, right? So it is allowed up to a certain limit that I have already discussed, which we call the sanctioned limit, right? So how this sanction limit is arrived, we have already discussed in multiple previous videos about the concept of MPBF, turnover method. So these are the financial analysis method. These are the eligibility parameters which the banks use to arrive at your financial eligibility. And of course, your property is of also equal importance. The eligibility should be both as per your financials MPBF and as per your property value. So suppose as per balance sheet, you are eligible for OD limit, overdraft limit of rupees 1 crore, but you are offering property of only rupees 50 lakhs. And bank has the policy that they don't give loan more than 100% of property value. So 100% of 50 lakh rupees property value will be 50 lakh rupees. So the banks will not be able to give you limit more than 50 lakh rupees. So both your financial eligibility, your collateral type eligibility should justify in order to arrive at the sanctioned amount. So friends, this overdraft amount is repayable on demand. The banks can ask any time by sending you the letter that please repay our overdraft limit in full. Although this doesn't happen practically, but this is in the eyes of law. This is repayable on demand. Bank can ask you to repay the whole limit anytime by sending the letter, right? Although this limit is allowed to you for 12 months period. So this facility of overdrawing your limit is allowed to you for 12 months period, and after 12 months you have to get it renewed from the bank for another 12 months period. The facility is repayable on demand. Bank can ask you anytime to pay it off, but the operations of this limit is allowed to you for up to maximum 12 months period, and then you have to renew it for next 12 months and keep on going so on and so forth, right? In overdraft limit, the bank may or may not have charge of on your current assets. Some banks decide to take charge, some banks don't. So this all depends on the bank's policy. So this overdraft limit is given to you for short period, for 12 months period. So this is your current liability. So this has to be used for your business purpose, for your working capital purpose. You can't use OD limit to invest in your fixed assets, because this facility is repayable on demand and allowed for 12 months period. You cannot use that funds to create an asset which have life of more than 12 months period, right? So interest is charged monthly, right? No principal repayment is done, only interest repayment has to be done, right? And annual renewal you have to do in order to allow you to avail this facility for next 12 months period. So at the time of annual renewal, the bank will charge annual renewal fees, which varies from 0.25%, 0.2%, 0.5%. 0.5% is way too high, 10%. This varies bank to bank, and this depends on your negotiation power. So interest has to be paid off in 3 to 5 working days from the date of debit, from the date of charging. It is debited on the last day of the month, and it is calculated on the day end balances only, right? So now the next very important part, the business transactions has to be routed in this account regularly. So this is why this is your revolving facility, right? Now, from the borrower point of view, from the point of view of a borrower who is using this limit is very suitable for them. Why? Because there is no issue of stock statement. They don't need to submit any stock statement. They don't need to have any stock audit, although some banks have policy of getting stock audit done as well. But generally, most of the banks don't have this policy. You don't have to submit any drawing power, right? But for point of view of a banker, because these monitoring mechanisms are not there in this facility, so this offering of overdraft limit is a bit riskier, is of higher risk to the bank, because there is lower monitoring involved in it, right? So lower monitoring, higher risk. So what are the repercussions for this? The bank, because bank is taking higher risk, the bank may ask you to submit higher property margin, higher property value. The bank may charge you higher rate of interest on this facility. The bank may have to do higher manual monitoring, because bank is not taking any of this information from you. The bank may have resistance in sanctioning this facility to you. The banks will prefer to give you cash credit limit in which monitoring is involved. The banks may be reluctant to give you this limit, right? Because they are not so much comfortable in giving this limit. And lower loan exposure is done in this limit. You cannot ask the bank to give you overdraft limit of rupees 50 crores. Although by passing of time, the banks are giving more and more overdraft limit. Some banks are giving up to 15 crores also. But many banks have the policy of restricting the overdraft limit up to a maximum 5 crores only. So banks generally don't go for higher exposure, higher loan exposure in form of overdraft facility, because of higher risks involved in it. So they prefer cash credit limit facility only if they want to go for higher exposures. So this is basically overdraft limit. I hope you have understood it. We will meet in next video and discuss about cash credit facility. Thank you very much.